Alright, so I took my 2017 Nissan GTR to Carmax to see what they would offer for it. And it's kind of interesting what they offered for it. And no, I didn't do it for the clout, I didn't do it for the views or anything like that. I did it because, as you guys might have seen from my Instagram, I'm putting the GTR up for sale, and I wanted to kind of get a baseline, kind of see what they would offer. I wasn't expecting very much. I was actually a little bit pleasantly surprised by their offer. And so I'm curious, down below in the comment section, let me know what you think Carmax offered for my car, keeping in mind the fact that, number one, the car was in an accident back in 2020 that did about $20,000 of damage. The car has a clean title. Number two, Carmax, when they buy and sell a car like that, or any decent car that's not a piece of crap basically, they actually strip the car down and revert it back to stock. And so that's an important factor to keep in mind when you're doing your prediction, when you're doing your guess. And then thirdly, they do a full analysis where they look at the market, they look at the used car market, they look at the GTR market, and they see how much they're selling for, and then they factor in everything else to come up to an offer. And so I am curious what you guys think. Post it down in the comment section below. Don't cheat by going ahead and seeing what I tell you later on in the video, because I'm genuinely curious what people think Carmax would offer for my car. When I sold my Tacoma to Carvana, which is a different company but basically same principle, back when I was living in Houston, I actually got above the Kelley Blue Book value. So that's just something I want to throw out there that may or may not be throwing you off the scent, but I was actually extremely happy with the offer I got from Carvana and took that offer. I literally sold my car to Carvana, which is basically like Carmax, just smaller. So let me know what you guys think. But before I tell you the amount that Carmax offered, I wanted to kind of tell you guys about why I'm selling the GTR. You know, the post wasn't a joke. It's not some troll that I'm trying to get you guys on where I'm like, hi, you guys thought I was selling the GTR. I am looking to sell the GTR. I'm not pressed to sell it. I'm not in a rush to sell it by any means, but the car is available for sale, and if I get an offer that I'm happy with, I'm gonna take it. So I wanted to make a video kind of talking about that and explaining that while we're in the GTR. Let's do that. Oh yeah. Look at that startup. That was a nice cold start, wasn't that? Now you might be thinking, Ryan, that wasn't a GTR. Well, that's because it's my daily. The GTR actually isn't here right now. That's usually where I park it, right there. And there's a reason for that. So basically, I wanted to have the car looking as good as possible if it were to sell, but also on top of that, I was really getting tired of how ugly the wing was, how ugly the fading or whatever it was on the wing. So I actually took the GTR to go get the carbon fiber wing fixed. And so it's actually like a 45-minute drive from me right now, but there's a reason why I'm driving out to it. It's not fixed, it's not even started yet, but there's a reason why I'm driving out there. However, I also want to mention really quickly that there is something really cool that I'm going to most likely reveal on the car. It will very likely be done, or it will be done at some point, but just in case, there's always the possibility it isn't. But essentially, while the car is having the wing repaired, there's also something else that's being done to the car that's really cool. That's a secret. I'm not going to tell you guys or show you guys until it's completed, if it does get completed. But it is something unique. It's something rare. It's something that I've never seen on a GTR before. It doesn't mean it hasn't been done on a GTR, but I have seen it on a couple other exotic cars. That's the only hint that I'll give you. But it isn't something that's just drastically changing the car. Like people keep guessing it's a wide body kit or something like that. No, it's unique. It's not something crazy or stupid that will make the car look ugly, like slamming it or wide bodying it or anything like that. It's something small but cool and unique that I think you guys will be excited for, that I will share with you guys on my Instagram when it's done, if it looks good, if it is good, if we actually go through with it. But the reason we're driving out to the car to make this video is actually because, well, I can't talk too much about this, but basically I have something going on where I need to go and I need to take some pictures of the car, and if everything goes well, then something really cool will happen. Unfortunately, it's not something you guys, well, I might make you guys aware of it if things go well, but it's nothing like, there's no changes to the car or anything like that. It doesn't have to do with selling the car. But it is something that I need to go out there and do. So I'm driving out there. I actually have to, it's kind of weird. I have to pick up the GTR, drop the daily off, and then drive the GTR to a secluded, well, not secluded, an area that's out in the open, so I can take some pictures of the car in a specific fashion, then return the GTR to someone else's place, and pick up my daily to drive back to my apartment. It's a very weird and convoluted situation, but it's what needs to be done because I need these pictures taken. I need them taken soon, and it's a bit of a drive. It just happened to coincide with the car being dropped off for the carbon fiber repair. I'm not gonna show any driving because driving the stock Lancer is not interesting at all. I mean, this thing has maybe 130 horsepower or something. It's pretty boring. But I do want to point out something interesting that I don't know if I've ever pointed out in a video for. I get kind of made fun of this every so often, but my daily is a manual and my weekend car is an automatic, which is kind of a weird conundrum and situation. You don't see that very often where your daily is a manual, but I enjoy dailying a manual. Makes it more fun, makes my commute to work not so terrible. So yeah, let's head out there. Not going to show any driving, but I'll show you once we get to the car. All right, we got some cold temps here, so this is going to be a cold start. I'll roll the window down. That I would have recorded a cold start from the outside, but again, I want to minimize how much is visible outside of the car just because this is at this guy's place of residence right now, and so I don't want to draw any unnecessary attention to said residence, protect his privacy and everything. Normally I would have set it outside and given you guys a cold start, but yeah, let's pop over and find some parking lot before it starts dumping rain on me. All right, so I found the parking lot where I was able to take my shots. It's in this park. It's actually really cool here, but there's nobody here. I'm not sure why. You got baseball fields and everything to be able to have some fun here. I'm not really going to show the outside of the car right now because it's actually really dirty. When I was taking it to this guy's place, it absolutely started downpouring like 5 minutes after I left. So the car is just absolutely covered in dirt right now. It does not look fantastic, but that's okay. The interior looks fine, so I can talk to you one-on-one about why I'm thinking about selling the GTR, why I'm looking to sell the GTR. But first off, for those of you who posted a comment down below guessing what Carmax offered for this GTR, for my car, what their full offer was, I'm gonna go ahead and share that right now. Congratulations if you guessed it right. If you cheated, then you suck. But it was really funny because they actually they say that they get them done in 20 to 30 minutes and they get you out really quick. And I'm sitting there with this guy who is the original person that checked me in, and he's just like, what the heck is taking so long? I sat there for about an hour and a half before the guy finally said, all right, fine, you should just leave. I'll email you the offer, because I was actually gonna pop across to the Nissan dealership literally right across the street before they close and get an offer from them too. And so they actually let me go. So I was wondering what was taking so long. You know, it could be the fact that the markets are hot right now. They needed to get an idea of where things are. Take a look at the fact that the car has damage, so they need to evaluate that. You know, I'm not all sure what goes into the offers, but it took them quite a while, and I actually didn't even get an offer until quite a few hours later. The guy texted me and they sent it to my email. So the offer that Carmax gave me for the car as is was $68,000. Now that is pretty dang low, and some of you guys are cringing. Some of you might be like, wow, GTRs are overpriced. I totally understand that as well. But basically that is an extremely low offer, but it makes sense as to why they'd offer that, because they would have to strip the car down and revert it back to stock, which would cost them quite a bit of money. I mean, the stock wing alone is pretty expensive. Then you have to pay for the labor of taking this one off, putting the other one on, and so on and so forth. So it makes sense as to why it would be that low. Obviously, I didn't accept that offer. There's no way in hell I'd accept that offer, because I could post it on Facebook and get 75 like that. Like it would sell instantly. And some 2017s are actually right now selling for upwards of 100 to 105,000. I've seen them actually sell for that much. GTRs have been going up year over year, and because of the discontinuation, there's talk that they're going to increase even more. But right now, the used car market is hot, and then on top of that, the GTR market is hot. So if it weren't for the accident on the car, I would probably be able to sell it for at least how much I paid for it almost 3 years ago. But sadly, because of the wreck, which was not my fault, the car has lost some value, and the fact that the wreck is on the Carfax on the history as a moderate damage will definitely deter some people or make other people hesitant, and will decrease the amount that I'll be able to get for the car. But people have been asking me, I think the number one thing that I get asked is, are you selling the car because like you're in financial trouble, you need to sell the car for the money or something like that? That's not the case. The reason why I'm selling the car is ever since I moved up to Washington, I mean, right now it's clear weather, kind of. It's cloudy, but it could start raining at any moment. I don't really drive the car that much 3/4 of the year, and the 1/4 of the year when it's summertime and the weather's actually decently nice, I still don't drive it all that much. There's not a ton of car meets that go on. There's not some great roads to drive on because there's a lot of traffic, and I just haven't been really enjoying the car that much. I mean, I love the car, but it's mostly just the fact that I live here versus like in Houston. In Houston, if I was still living in Houston, honestly, I would almost guaranteed be keeping the car because the roads there are perfect for driving. The car scene there is so much better. Well, so much better for me. I fit in better with the car scene. I want to make sure I make that abundantly clear that I fit in better with the car scene there. The car scene up here, though there is some nice car, performance car type mods, a lot of the car scene up here is what you see me not doing to my car. You know, lowered, completely stanced out camber, crazy like chassis mounted wings. I mean, basically everything that I wouldn't do to the car is what the car scene is up here, and what they kind of, what the main focus is up here, which I understand. Like each region has their own focus, and that's awesome. I have nothing against those cars personally. I don't think people are wrong for doing that. They just have different tastes, but it doesn't fit my taste. And I'm definitely up here for at least the foreseeable future, possibly the rest of my life. And so it doesn't really make sense for me to try to blend in with the car scene that I don't really that don't fit in super well with. But it doesn't make sense for me to, you know, distance myself from the car scene and just have the car and drive it occasionally, and that's it. So essentially my thoughts is I would try to sell it. If I get a good offer, I'll take the offer, I'll sell the car. I will then invest the money in some way, shape, or form, most likely in stocks. As you guys know, I run my own business when it comes to investing, so I'm pretty profitable when it comes to, or pretty successful when it comes to investing, and so likely invest that money and see how that money grows me in the long term. Car hasn't been renting out very much, so obviously there's less revenue there. People keep asking me if I'm going to turn around and get the Lamborghini that I've been wanting. No. Right now is not the time to buy a used car. Right now is the time to sell a used car. So most likely I would sell the car, invest the money, keep my Lancer. I was about to point at this car. This car is not my daily. Keep the Lancer as my daily, drive that. And then when the market dies down, when the chip shortage dies down in 2022 or so, mid 2022 to late 2022, then buy another daily, because I want two cars. I want two fuel efficient cars, or at least two cars that I can drive in the case that one breaks down or needs repairs or something. I have another car to drive, but wait until that time. And honestly, I'm looking for something cheap that's all-wheel drive, that can get me basically like to work, to the mountain, whatever's needed, because the front wheel drive doesn't handle super well in the rain, and it does not handle well at all in snow. So I want something all-wheel drive. I'm thinking like a Subaru, but I'm not talking like an STI or anything like that. I'm talking some boring, cheap Subaru with a decent amount of miles on it that I can safely drive to the mountain, throw my snowboarding gear in the back, and just go on a nice trip. But if this happens, if this follows through, then yes, I will be leaving the car scene. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to go to meets. It doesn't mean that I'm going to delete my Instagram or stop caring about cars or anything like that. I still love cars to my core, but I just haven't been enjoying them right now. And I think that the best thing for me is to stop focusing on cars because I can't enjoy them, and focus more on my ultimate goal of retiring early, or rather being financially independent, and you know, running my own business and having that be my full-time gig in my mid-30s or something like that, where I'm not working every single day, where I can enjoy a fun car more often, where I can make my own financial decisions. And so ultimately my goal is to build my assets, build my investments up to a point where my investments are able to pay for my car instead of myself paying for my car, if that makes sense. Again, this is all just kind of what I'm hoping to do. There's no guarantee that the car is gonna sell. It depends entirely on if I get a good enough offer, if I get what I'm looking for, and hopefully repairing the wing will be helpful for that. But whoa, a demon just drove by. That was pretty sick. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's the best thing to do right now for myself financially. Another one of the questions that I get is, do you regret, does this mean you regret buying the car? Do you think that if someone else is 22 years old, should they not buy the car and invest the money? Whereas I think as a financial responsibility question, absolutely. You should not buy a car like this. You should invest the money, invest in your future, and then further down the road, then buy something like this when you can not only afford it, but afford as much as you want and just let that money grow. But ultimately, like right now, if I could go back in time to when I was 23 years old, I would buy the car again. I seriously would. I love this car. I absolutely love the GTR. It has been honestly one of the best decisions that I've made in my entire life, to purchase this car, to own this car, to get involved in the car community, to meet so many awesome people. I've loved every step of the way. I've loved modifying the car. I mean, it's been so much fun, and I wouldn't take all of that back for anything. I love that. I would do that all over again. I mean, it was the best time for me to do that, honestly, because I was 23 years old. I bought my dream car. I was single, didn't have kids, didn't have a house. I was moving around the country for my job. I mean, it was the absolute perfect time for me to buy the car, and if I could go back, I 100% would buy the car again. 100% I would buy this car again. I absolutely love it. There's nothing, not a damn thing that I dislike about this car. It's just, it feels like it's time. I mean, honestly, I've barely been driving the car. Most of the miles that have been put on this car in the last 6 months have been from rentals, not from me driving. And then people turn around and they say, well, you should drive the car more. Well, the problem is that almost all of my driving is my commute to and from work, which is in standstill traffic, which this is not fun to drive in standstill traffic. You're going 5, 20, 25, 30 miles an hour maybe, and you're staying in that range. You're not going, I have no opportunities to go fast because there's too much traffic. And then when it comes to weekends, like sometimes I'll want to go out for a drive, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just want to chill. And I just haven't been driving the car a lot. Hasn't been something that I've been really seeking out to do. I mean, I do still love driving this car, and you know, I even just enjoyed it driving to this park and everything, but ultimately, seems like the smarter decision to try to sell the car if I can. Not pressed to, so if you come at me with a lowball offer, believe me, I'm not going to accept it. But it just makes sense. I mean, I don't think it's a good idea to let the money burn a hole in my pocket, you know, for insurance if I'm not driving the car much, for repairs, or for like oil changes, everything like that, replacing the brakes, if I'm just not enjoying the car scene. So that's basically my reason. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, let me know down in the comment section below. My camera is flashing at me that it's about to die, so I got to do my outro. But thank you guys for watching the video. I really appreciate it. I know this is a sad day, but I promise you it's for the better in the long term, especially for me. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, and as always, have a nice day.